Hi Shrivali. Hi Ashwini. All right, I think we should start now.
Good morning, Surender.
So, Shubham, you want to start? I mean, we discussed in the last session, right? You are going to share your experience, and
Yeah,
many congratulations one more time for getting, selected. So maybe, guys, feel free to ask any questions. So Shubham has agreed to give his 10 minutes. Okay. So if you have any questions you want to ask Shubham, feel free to ask him, right? So he got selected in one of the MNCs. So yeah, he can share his experience, what kind of questions were asked, and how others should prepare for the interviews. Yeah, Shubham, over to you.
sure. Student, if you can stop recording for the time being.
Okay. Tut, 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 tut. All right. So you guys can see my screen, right? My PPT.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, so this is module 4, right? In the last module, we talked about the basics of Langchain. We talked about what are message templates, what are uh, the different components, right? And how we can build simpler chains, right? We tried to create one simple chain, which was having a prompt template. The output from the prompt template is passed to the model, and from model, the output is passed to my output parser. So like that, we build some simpler chains. So in this module, we will talk about some advanced concepts in the LangChain. For example, this we have already seen. Let me take highlighter. So we saw how we can pass in the variables in the prompt template, which generates the prompt value, which is given to model, which generates AI message, and then a string output parser. In this module, we will see some more sophisticated chains and some more concepts, right, which will help us to create some complex workflows, right? Not the simpler ones, but now we are deep diving into how to build some sophisticated and complex workflows and chains. And we will see also one of the main observability platform, which is Langsmith, how we can use that platform to monitor our application. Okay. And then in the end, we will build two projects. One is the conversational chain. What is a conversational chain? Conversational chain means your chain is having, your application is having capability to remember your previous, messages, right? So what we will be doing is we will be basically stacking all the messages, and we will be passing the entire history along with your current user message to the large language model. So that is called as a conversational chain. And we will also build one complex chain where we will take some Wikipedia article and we will change and turn it into a blog post. Okay, so lot of exciting and lot of important stuff to cover today. So technically speaking, we will cover the introduction to Langsmith, your how to use custom functions. Okay, so far we were using the components, the elements which are out of the box available in the Langchain, like your parsers, chat models, and your prompt templates. But let's say in between you need to call a third party API, or if you want to execute one custom function. So in that case, you have to make your custom functions runnable, and so that they can become part of your chain. Okay. And there is a concept of runnable parallels, composed chains, runnable pass through, and memory conversational chains. So this is all we will cover. Okay. So let's start with the Langsmith. Okay, so Langsmith is an observability tool developed by Langchain. As I said, Langchain initially started with just a few libraries, but then they expanded their offerings, and they included a platform which can be used to monitor your production application. Okay, or the application which we will develop. Okay, so this is a tool which you can go and you can observe what is going on behind the scene, because when you run a particular chain, right, like we did in the last class, when you say chain.invoke, the only thing you are giving is your input, and the only thing you are getting is your output, right? Whatever is output of your chain. But what is going inside that chain, what each component is doing, that can be that can be found out with the help of Langsmith. Okay. And then the key features are like it is helpful to track all the requests to the LLM. So we have large language model and we have other components. But in order to find out what is going exactly into my LLM, because we will be creating some prompts, right? We will be having some prompts and we will be passing some values, and maybe I'm creating some dynamic prompts. So in the end, if my application is not behaving correctly for some reasons, the first thing I will do is I will go to Langsmith and see what exactly is being passed to my LLM, right? What is input to my LLM? Is it correct or not? If it is not correct, then there is no question that it will produce some right output. So this Langsmith basically help you to track all the requests which is going and coming out, and the responses which are coming out from your LLM model, right? That can be Grok, that can be OpenAI models, any model. Okay. The second thing is monitor data flow within your chain. So as we talked about, not only the LLM, the request and the response coming from the LLM, but also the individual components of the chain. So we will be able to see what is going to a particular component and what is its output. This is very important, because in order to debug your application or to fine tune it, or I mean, if you want to do anything, you should know what is actually going under the hood. Okay. Then monitor concurrent operations, so we can create some chains where concurrent operations will happen. So this Langsmith also help us to monitor those things. And the most importantly, the Langsmith will also tell me how many tokens are consumed, so that you can have check on your bills, you can do your cost optimizations, you can actually see which chain, or what is actually leading to more number of tokens being consumed or produced. Okay, all good. So right now we just saw what is Langsmith and what it does. But the question is why we should monitor the LLM applications. Okay, so you can see the request goes to the Langchain and the response comes out. Okay, so we actually don't know what is happening inside the chain. So there may be parsing, there may be LLM calls, transformations, retrievals, and API calls. So if you want to look inside all these things, we need to have some application, some platform which is like Langsmith. Okay. Another thing is the large language models are non-deterministic. Okay. We talked many times in the past that whatever input, whatever output which we are receiving is always indeterministic. You cannot, go inside your large language model or go inside the neural networks and say why it produce any given output. Okay, so it's always a black box, and you never know why LLM has produced any response, right? So now, since LLMs are indeterministic, it becomes even more important to at least put, some mechanism where we can check what is going inside it, what is coming out of it, and also the different components. Okay. And I mean, see, this LLM is actually different from our usual function, which we usually write. So if we are writing a piece of code, if we know what is going into my Python function or a Java function, then I'm 100% certain about the output. But this is not the case with LLMs. So That is why the monitoring the application becomes even more important, and track complex workflows with multiple API calls. And I think this we have covered. Okay, make it easier to diagnose and optimize Langchain. So this is the basic of Langsmith. How to set up Langsmith? That you just need to. I think have you created the Langchain keys and all, guys?
Yeah, Langchain key I created also.
Okay. So what we need to do is we need to go to the Langsmith dashboard. We need to create a key, and then we have to use that key in our code. So let's do that in our collab file. Okay.
So, Surendra, is it to mitigate the logs related, request or logs related use cases?
Yes, yes. Mitigate in the sense, I mean, this is a monitoring application, right? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I will just show you.
Okay.
So, this is my, let me share. Where is the share button? Just a second. I'm getting confused actually. Can you see my screen now?
It's showing.
Yes, Surendra, yeah.
Yeah. So what I need to do is we need to go to Langsmith. Langsmith. Okay. If you do sign up, I mean, it will ask you how you want to log in. Okay. So now when you sign in, you will see if you click, okay, do you want me to tell you how to create the keys? Tu- tu- tu.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Langsmith keys. Okay, so what you need to do is you first go to docs.smith.langchain.com. It will tell you how to get started with Langsmith. Okay, so it says install Langsmith and then create an API key. So if you click on this particular setting, you will see, and then you can create your API key. Okay, so you can create a key like demo 812, create a key, copy your key, and then open our Google Colab. I will just paste my key here. And then what I need to do is I will go back to my documentation. I will, and I can see there are a couple of lines okay, how to set up your environment. So I will copy these two lines. Okay. My first step is to first let's install pip install Langchain. If you want to do it with me, that's fine. If you are not able to follow, maybe you can do it later. So pip install Langchain, and then what I need to do is import OS and then os.environ.
Then this key you have taken from the after installing, right? After in the Langchain when you log in,
Mm-hmm.
after enrolling, you are getting that, right?
Yes, yes. Once you log in to your website, I used Google account to get into the.
हाँ ओके
ठीक है?
उसके बाद यहाँ पर की में जाना है ना
You have to go into the keys. ना मैंने डायरेक्ट ये लिंक यहाँ से यूज कर लिया.
हाँ ओके समझ गया ऐसा है
If you go to your profile, I think then it will show you the key. And then I have copied these two properties which I need to set. Okay, I will take where are the properties? Copy and paste. Okay, so I will be pasting in a similar fashion. What we have learned, I will take lang trace and then I will set it to true. Okay, similarly, I will have to set another property which is Langchain API key. So I will take my key from here. I will paste. This I can remove. And another thing, let's use grok key is grok underscore API underscore key. And this is equal to. So what I will do is I have saved my key on the secrets. Okay. In the Google Colab in the left hand side, you have something called as the secrets. So if I want to use the secrets which are stored in my secrets, I can copy paste this code. I will use this code and put it here. And I will take this property. Okay, is it making sense? So I can do get pass, which we have been doing so far. I can set it like with the double quotes. That is also fine. The third way is to store your keys on the secrets so that you don't need to, uh, type in again and again. Okay. Every time you can just write this code, user data.get, and it will be coming out of your secrets. Okay. I will run this piece of code. It is saying user data. Okay. I haven't run this one. Okay, so I have set my properties. Now what I will do, I will create simple chain, which we done in the past. So what I will do is from Langchain underscore grok import chat grok. Is it right? Or grok chat? I haven't installed this dependency. Pip install Langchain hyphen grok. Okay, so I can run this now. I also need what from Langchain underscore core dot what I need prompt templates. Prompt temp from prompts, I suppose. So also from Langchain underscore grok, जो हमने कर लिया है. What else? Output parser. Okay, Langchain underscore dot output parser, string output parser. Okay. Langchain dot grow dot prompts import prompt template.
I think something is missing. Packages.
Cannot import name prompt. Chat prompt template or prompt chat prompt template ना. बड़ा confusing है. Chat prompt template I think. ठीक है. Okay, now what simpler chain, right? So let's define our prompt. Prompt template. And then output parser. String output parser and ठीक है. And chain is equal to what? Chain is equal to my prompt pipe model नहीं बनाया मैंने, अभी बनाते हैं. And then my parser model is equal to chat grok. ठीक है. Now chain dot invoke. What input? ठीक है. So I have run this simple chain, and if I go to, so I have not given any name of the project. So while setting or while enabling the Langsmith, I have just put the variables like Langchain underscore tracing underscore v2 as true, and it has to be in the codes. Okay, and Langchain API key. So I have done that, and if I go to my Langsmith now, if I hit refresh, this is the dashboard. This is like default. Okay, so if I go into the default, what I will see is my call, right? So this is runnable sequence. If I click on that, what I will see is this is my chain. So this is runnable sequence, right? So I think I explained in the last class, the chain and runnable sequence are same thing. Since inside a chain, we basically put runnable objects, and this is a sequence of runnable objects. The Langchain has started calling it as a runnable sequence instead of change. So they are now using this word runnable sequence. So if you click on the runnable sequence, what you will see is it has taken 0.37 seconds and it has consumed 109 tokens, out of which 15 were the input tokens and 94 were the completion tokens. Okay. And if you click on that, it will show you in the right hand side what was my input. My input was India, and this is my output. Okay. And if you come further right, you can see even the time when the request was paid, what is the status, the number of tokens, what is latency, and all those things. It has run ID, trace ID. So this makes sense, right, guys?
Yes, yes, Surendra.
So now what I can do is if I need to further look into my chain, right? So on in my code, in my console, what I see is only my input and my output, correct? But what is going inside my chain or what is happening inside my chain, I can make use of this platform. If I click on, so you can see there are three components of this runnable sequence. Okay, this the chain has three components. The first is the chat prompt template. So I can click and I can see the input to my chat prompt template was India. And what is the output? Output is what is capital of India, India. Okay, India, India, because in the last I added this argument. Okay, so maybe I can remove this. Okay, so this is so this is my content, my output from my chat prompt template. The same, it's to be passed to the chat grok. So if I go to chat grok, I can see my input is what is capital of India, India, and this is the response. Similarly, if I go to string parser, since this is already a string, it will not make any change and it will generate the output. Okay. So is it helpful, guys? Now I think you can appreciate.
Yes, Surendra.
Sunday, it's like the way of like just to backtrace our things like output or component things of where what is happening behind.
Correct, correct. So this is to monitor our entire application, right? So this is a very simple chain which has just three components. Just think of a chain, which is a composed chain, which has chains inside the chains, and you have 100 components in it. Then it becomes really important to go and check what are, what is input and output of each component. And if there is an issue, you really need some help from the Langsmith to debug your issues, right? What is going wrong. Okay, so it has this dashboard. This is a link to go into your dashboard, which has projects. What you can do is in your code, there is one more property of project. If you say my project name is equal to XYZ, then it will create another folder for that 913 for XYZ, and then you can go inside and you can trace your C. Along with this monitoring platform, they have now started providing run and evaluation tryout platform, some other offerings, right? They are also expanding. So you can create dashboards and I think a lot of things they are coming up with new things, right? So we will basically restrict ourselves into, how to see or monitor our application. Okay, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. I will be back, guys. Yeah, I'm back. Okay. So, I mean, this is also one of the very famous question in the interviews, right? So how do you monitor your application, right? If you are working on a POC or any other project, they can ask you, how to monitor your application. You can straightforward answer that we have been using Langchain framework to develop our application. And also there is something called as Langsmith, with the help of which we can monitor and debug our application. Okay.
What is the other one along with Langsmith? Is it
No, I
no?
mean, we just talked about Langsmith only. Right?
Okay.
What you can do is, I mean, when you are developing your application, if you want, you can explicitly create the log files, right? Just like we do in our web
Yeah.
applications. So you
Correct.
can, sys out and all those things. You can, after every call, if you want to monitor what is the cost, then maybe since when you actually make a call with your LLM, it comes with some metadata, right? We have seen in the past. So from that metadata also, you can pull the number of tokens being consumed and things like that. So in that case, you have to explicitly, create your log files, and you have to make your print statements and log statements. Okay, so this is one of the ready-made thing which is
Is
easy
there
to
any
be.
tracing level also, Surendra? Like we can increase or decrease the tracing level. I mean, like we do have another technology.
Mhm. That I am not aware of whether it is possible
Mhm.
to increase or decrease, because I mean, mm, not sure.
Is it only Langsmith or any other monitoring? Is it two APIs available?
Yeah, I mean, there are various products actually. I mean, just like this Langsmith or the Langchain company is giving you an offering of Langsmith. Similarly, I think the Llama Index is also having the observability platform, right? So there are also third-party company, new startups which have come up, which I mean, this is one of the most established and one of the known product Langchain. So that's why we are talking about this one. Otherwise, I mean, every day there are new startups which are coming with lot of offerings, right? They also provide, but okay. So let's move further. Okay. So we have covered what is Langsmith, and we will keep using this Langsmith, right? So that we can see the, you know, how we can do the monitoring. So using functions as, runnable. So we have seen that in my so let's talk first about, I think we have talked shortly what is runnable sequence and chain. So these are the two terms which are actually same. Chain, meaning of chain is also the runnable sequence. Okay, so earlier the Langchain community used to use more of a chain words, that we are creating a chain, but now they have started using more like runnable sequence. Okay, because the components are runnable, and we can, that runnable protocol is implemented, and you can use like dot invoke, dot stream, all those methods uniformly with all the runnables. So what is a chain, or what is a runnable sequence? It's nothing but a pipeline of steps that pass output from one step to the other, and they implement the runnable interface. This we have already talked about. So now we will talk about how to make use of functions. Okay, using functions as runnables. So if you want to plug in some function, right, we have a prompt, we have LLM, and then if you want to do some custom thing, right, maybe we want to call some custom function which we have written in Python. In that case, we have to plug in our that custom function into the chain, and we have to make it runnable. Okay, so integrate custom functions into runnable sequences. Using custom functions within the chains, functions interact with the external APIs or perform operations. Prioritizing chains over agents when possible, reduce the non-deterministic element when possible. Okay, so what this means is, if you have an agent and if you have a chain, and if you have implemented a similar functionality, then we should always prefer using the chains, because they are more deterministic. The sequence of steps are deterministic, right? We are saying the output from prompt should go to the LLM, and the LLM output should go to the function. So in that sense, this is more predictable and more deterministic in nature using chains, whereas agents, which we will talk also in our future, sessions, that is a bit non-deterministic in the sense that on the fly, it, try to judge which step it has to execute. Okay.
Uh,
If you have a
Surendra, you are
choice,
repeating?
yeah.
Are you sharing the slide?
We
Sorry.
are still looking this only. Google like
Oh,
Lang Smith.
is it? Sorry, sorry. I have been sharing.
No, you're sharing,
Yeah,
but
you are
we can
sharing.
see your
Langsmith,
Langsmith.
yeah,
Okay.
page only we are seeing. Are you going to some other page?
Yes, yes.
मगर दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है.
सॉरी सॉरी, अभी दिख रहा है?
Yes.
अभी
अरे
अभी
सॉरी,
आपका वो पीपीटी का वाला पेज है.
ठीक है, सॉरी. So I talked about that runnable. So now we are going to cover how to use custom functions as runnables in our chains. Okay. And a quick note that the chains are actually same as the runnable sequences. Chain, what is a chain or a runnable sequence? It's nothing but the pipeline of steps or runnables that pass output from one step to the next. Okay. And they all implement runnable interface. Next is, oh, okay, okay. Okay, next is using functions as runnable. So in this chart, we can see we have prompt, we have LLM, we have function calls. Okay, so our intention is to put or plug in one custom function or a function call in inside our chain. So integrate custom functions into runnable sequence using custom functions within the chains. Functions interact with the action. These functions actually can do anything, right? It can be a simple Python function, or it may be a function which is calling some third-party APIs, right? So it can do, pretty much anything which a Python function can do, and prioritizing chains over the agents when possible. So I was just telling you that if you have an option to use either chain or an agent, so you should always go for the chain. If the functionality can be implemented by chain, then you should always go with the chain because they are more deterministic. Their flow is, is strictly, bound. Okay, what comes after what? Okay, the components are the output from this one will definitely go to LLM and from, but in the agent, what we do is we leave large language model to decide which function it has to call. Okay, so that reasoning capability we use of the large language model. So sometimes it becomes indeterministic or unpredictable what is going to happen, and it's difficult to create agent based applications. Okay. Now, how to use these, how to plug in these functions? What we have to do is we have to do the coercion. What is the coercion? Coercion's meaning embedding our functions inside the chains with the help of lambda expression. Okay, so we will make use of lambda expression in order to call a custom function. Okay, so you can see we have a template like what should I wear if the weather today is weather, and then this is the prompt, this is my model, this is my output parser. So when I'm creating my chain, these three steps are common, right? This we have already seen, but if I want to, what my prompt is looking for, prompt is looking for weather. So, and from where I will get the weather I will get from a function which is like get weather of. Okay, so this function basically takes CT as an input and it will tell you what is the weather. So if I want to call that function inside the chain, I have to use this lambda expression, which is like the lambda keyword, the input, colon, and the name of the function. Okay, so this is my input and this is my output. So when I call this function, I will get some output, right? So this is the format of writing a lambda function, which is nothing but an anonymous function. Okay, a function without any name as such. Okay, so we'll do it in Colab as well. So what is coercion? Using lambda expressions, integrate external functions into chains. Functions behave like runnables in the sequence, ideal for interacting with APIs or custom logics. Okay, so let's dive into coding part. अभी screen दिख रही है, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what we will do is we are already having this chain. So if we want to plug in our function, so first of all, let's write a function. So function is like get capital or maybe get weather ही करते हैं. Get weather of city if this is not giving me any hints now. If city is India, चलो ठीक है. Turn unknown. Okay, so I have created this small function which is get weather of the city. I will pass the city. City is London, then cloudy. City is Delhi, then sunny, else rainy. Okay.
You have to remove one equal, like.
अभी ठीक है ना? Okay, let me try calling this. ठीक है. So now my function is ready. So I will take my chain. So now while creating the chain, first of all, let me tell you, if I include parentheses, then my chain is still okay, right? So it does not impact anything. So let me format this one like this one. This actually helps to, this becomes more readable. Okay, so this is my chain. Now what I need to do is I need to put my lambda function. So I will do like write the keyword lambda city, or you can write anything, right? You can x and then what I need to call my function get city x and then another brace. Okay, and a pipe sign.
Yes, bracket निकाल.
अभी ठीक है, right? So let me execute this chain and I say chain dot invoke. If I pass London, what will happen? It will say the capital of India is New Delhi. Sorry, I need to change my prompt as well. So what I should wear if weather in my city is, I will put
Get.
weather. Okay. When the weather is cloudy. Okay, so cloudy, where from the cloudy has come? The cloudy has come from this particular function. Okay, so when I invoked this chain, what essentially is happening is I am passing this as a London. So our thumb rule is we have to pass the parameter which is the parameter of my first element. Okay, my first component is my lambda function, and this is looking for just one argument which is like city. So I'm just passing the London, and my second prompt, my second component is looking for how many arguments? Just one argument, which is the weather. Okay, so whatever value which will this function will return will be passed to my prompt, and then so on and so forth. Okay, is it fine?
Surinder, वो जो x लिखा है ना lambda x,
Mm-hmm.
so that can be anything, right?
Yeah, I mean you can this can be anything, like it can be input. In that case, you need to change it as an input. Okay,
Okay.
this is a lambda
So
expression.
basically, your lambda input, that
Hmm.
same value has to be there in that function.
Yes, yes. Okay, they are anonymous functions in Python, lambda expression. Okay, so I mean you can do any manipulation here. If you don't want to call a function, maybe you can write input dot input plus, something, some operation if you want to do. So it will allow you to do this operation. Input is equal to input plus 2. So whatever input you will pass, it will add 2 and it will assign it to the input and will pass to the. Okay, so yeah,
Can you execute unknown?
Sorry,
Unknown.
unknown what?
Like other than London and Delhi, it will take rainy.
Acha, this one.
Yes.
If I pass something, it should take rainy. Okay, whatever output we get from our function, it will be put to my prompt. Sounds good.
Surendra, I mean, you have a so much. I mean, we are getting so much content, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
all these. I mean, already
Yeah,
defined.
I will share all these collab notebooks. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I will put these as a link in the YouTube videos or maybe in the Slack also. Okay.
I mean, is it you created or it's already there in the API side? The
What
content.
which
See,
He's asking in the response content after reading.
yeah,
this one?
yeah.
All this, yeah.
So this is coming from our large language model, no? From our model, no?
LLM.
LLM.
Okay.
You go and see the runnable interface in the Langsmith then. How
Okay, okay. That we can do. So if you go to my Langsmith, if you go to default, this is my London 1-2, right? Which resulted in the rainy. So,
Yeah.
to the runnable sequence, my input is London 1-2 and the rendered output. And I can go inside this. See, this is now called as a runnable lambda, right? Because with the help of this lambda expression, we have made this function as a runnable. So to this is London 12. The output was rainy, which was passed to my chat prompt template. This is the input. The output is it has replaced in my prompt template. The city is rainy and then passed to the chat grok. This is my output. Okay.
So if you want to reduce this output, we have to put some Python function and we can do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, what you can do is you can maybe in the prompt itself here, you can write something like, what I should wear in this weather if my city is so and so, and keep your response in 2 lines or 3 lines, whatever you want to write, right? That we usually do in a system prompt. Okay, right now we are just using the template, but if you want, if you remember, we have another method which is like chat prompt template prompt messages, right? There we can pass the stack of messages. Okay, for simplicity we are using this template.
Surendra, while here maybe instantiating the model, right? So we are not providing any the model name. So does it take in a default model in this case?
Yeah. So default model is the Mixtral.
Achha, okay.
So if you go to chat grok and
in the chart when you click left side only, it is
left
there.
side. Okay, this is the Mixtral. Okay, if you don't give any model name explicitly, it will take Mixtral. Otherwise, you can give any name, right, which is supported by your grok.
Yeah.
So Surinder, as we are doing this Langchain and getting this output, so in Chat GPT also it follows the same logic, like it uses Langchain internally or.
No. ChatGPT does not uses any Langchain, right? So it has its own. I mean, that ChatGPT application has been developed by OpenAI, right? So I don't think they are using Langchain. Langchain came after ChatGPT. Okay.
Okay.
So there is something also called as Llama Index, right?
Yes, yes. Llama Index is another framework which is a competitor of Langchain, basically.
But the concept wise, it is same.
Yeah, I mean, almost the concepts are same. I mean, but what I feel is Langchain has some edge over the Llama Index. Over last 6 months, I think Langchain has advanced. I mean, sometime before they were like equal. Now I think is ahead in the race, this Langchain. So I mean, maybe tomorrow they will release something and they will become, yeah. But in my current company, I could see the projects are being implemented in Langchain.
Okay.
So yeah.
Still, not like from this, but just random also like data scientists versus like Gen AI engineers, will say. So, what are the role and responsibility we can segregate? Like data scientists, we can say those who are developing models, and Gen AI or engineers would be like who integrate and deploying those models. We can say.
I mean, see, data scientist is a very broad term actually. So it's someone who is working on data and he's taking out some meaning out of that data. He is a data scientist. So he may be working on the models, maybe on traditional machine learning. He may be working on deep learning, and he may be part of Gen AI also, right? So it's data scientist is a very broad term, and AI engineer is a new term basically, which means the person who is working in artificial intelligence, right? And I mean, these actually all terms are very, overlapping with
So yes.
each other. Yeah.
So whether is it just like whether Gen AI engineers are like we can say so whether they are developing LLM models, no, right? Just they are integrating them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like it is a kind of like DevOps people.
DevOps is a bit different, right? You are creating a pipeline to,
Pipelines.
hmm,
Yeah, like let's say whatever we are front end yeah, application team is doing developing and they are deploying that
hmm,
code. Okay? They are
right, right.
doing
So I
integration
mean, we
and
can
then
say we are kind of software developers, and maybe some architects who are developing applications using LLMs, right? Using generative AI concepts, right? So in that way we can forecast ourselves. You can say we are AI engineers also, but data
and
scientist is, I think, थोड़ा सा वो मतलब बड़ा हो जाता है role. You are talking about models and training the models, and uh, you know uh, getting some value out of your data, right? Some useful meaning out of your data.
मैथमेटिक्स आ जाएगा,
हाँ, मैथमेटिक्स वगैरह और वो सब आ जाता है.
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, पीडीएफ.
with our current experience, let's say 14, 15 years of experience, and let's say people is having 30, 35, 35 lakhs of packages, can we try outside and just giving interview for 2, 3 years of Gen A experience, whether we'll get that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I have 18 years of experience. Okay, so I mean, see, Gen AI itself is a very new thing, right? So it everything started just 2, 3 years back. Okay,
So
If
in
you
so
say
terms of
more
packages
experience,
also,
you'll get caught.
package in terms of package, let's say if 15 and if we are going with 2 to 3 years of brand experience, I mean totally we are shifting to Gen AI, whether we'll get that in
mhm.
terms of package as well.
I mean, in terms of package, I think if you have 15 years of, I mean, even the people who are having 8, 10 years of experience, they are getting 45 lakh, 50 lakh, 60 lakhs of package, right? But I mean, they also have some strong background knowledge of, these ML things also. They have done, I mean, they have been in this area at least for years, right? So now maybe they are working in Gen AI, but in the past they have worked on machine learning or neural networks. They have all those in-depth knowledge also. So those kind of people are getting 60 lakhs also. So I mean, after 6, 7 years of 7, 8 years of experience, I think it doesn't matter what is your experience. Even a 10-year experienced guy is getting 50, 60 lakhs. or maybe some 18-20 years is just getting 40 or maybe 30 lakhs. So, but yes, with the 15 years of experience, with some GenAI experience of 2 years, I think you can ask for 45, 50. That is what companies are offering right now. Okay.
Surendra, one doubt, Surendra, for about the chart graph models we are talking, right? On which data set they are trained, how we know? Actually, see, we are writing the capital of India. It's a general question. It is taking the mixture. If you are talking any technical terms like any development related, which model we need to take, how we decide? So that is
So they are actually trained on vast amount of data, right?
Yeah.
On almost all the domains, so that they have some general capability of answering the questions in general to all the topics, right? So they are trained on code as well. They are trained on Wikipedia data also. So they are trained on some research papers also, right? They are trained on some GitHub codes also. So if you talk about the models from the OpenAI like 4o, 4o Mini, they are capable of all doing almost everything, every task. They are multitasking. And that is the reason why, there is a lot of adoption. Earlier, what we used to do is we used to create one model, we used to train it with some data, and it was able to do only that task, right? Whether an email is spam or not, whether the image which is being provided is of a cat or a dog. So they were very specific to their data on which they are trained. The large language models have the capability that they actually are trained with such a vast amount of data that they have capability to understand in general any sentence, right? When we give the prompts, we are simply writing our English word, right? What is capital of India, right? So they generate that capability where they can even understand the natural language, and with the knowledge and with the data they have been trained on, they are able to answer those questions. And they are multitasking. If you want to do sentiment analysis, you can do. If you want to do translation, then also you can do. Earlier they used to build separate models for translation, separate for you know for summarizations. Now everything has been packed together. That is the reason why these models take months to get trained with some petabytes of data. The companies are overtaking some nuclear power plants to power these machines where they are trained, basically, right?
Yeah.
All the companies are overtaking, they consume so much of power and so much of data that it's not possible for a small company to do all these things. Okay, so these larger models, large language model, which we call LLMs, they are capable of doing multiple tasks because they have been trained on vast amount of data. And just like a kid, right, when we grow, we learn Hindi, English, science, social, everything. So today we can solve any problem, right? Any similar problem. But if someone asks me some specific question about some legal question that, uh, how to file a case on a builder who is not giving possession by so and so clause, and right, so that we may not be able to answer because that is very specific domain, right? So I mean, similarly, if you want a coding agent, then you may need to look for some model which is specifically trained on the coding capabilities, which can understand your code, which can write the code also, right? Yeah, if we need general purpose, these LLMs are pretty much capable of doing. So when you select a model, it depends actually what is your use case, what amount of data, what amount of how much money you can spend. If you're looking for open source models are also there, and and we have closed source. I mean models within that also. Do you want to deploy your model on prem? If you are if you are banking, maybe you are very particular about the security of your data, then maybe you will say that I have my own infrastructure, and within that my own company network I would like to deploy my models, but that will be a costly affair. So yeah, I mean, different choices for different use cases and different domains.
Okay.
Okay, we are running out of time and we have a lot to cover. So you were able to understand this one, right? How to do what? How to coerce your functions and how to call them. There is something called as the runnable parallels. Runnable parallels means nothing, but what we are doing is we have one component and we have other component. This is our chain again. And if you want to run two components parallelly, then we have to make use of runnable parallels, and we can execute two different runnables parallelly. And once we get the uh, output, we can combine and we can provide it to the next component. So what are runnable parallels? A dictionary of several runnables. Okay. Let's say our prompt is looking for two things now, not only the name or the weather of the city, maybe maybe the temperature also. What I should wear if the temperature, if the weather in my city is cloudy and the temperature is so and so. So now we are looking for two input variables, right? So what I can do is I can create two custom functions and I can pass the name of my city to those custom functions, and each will produce some output which will be there in the dictionary, right? So we will have a key like weather and the other key as temperature. So I will get values for those keys from these two methods, and then that dictionary will be passed to my prompt template. And from there, it will be passed to the LLMs and we will get a response. I think you got the idea, right? All runnables in the dictionary are executed at the same time, takes as input the union of inputs of all the runnables in the dictionary. Okay. So the example which I just said, if my template is like, what should I wear if the weather is weather and the temperature is temperature? So I have two variables. So definitely, if I have two variables in my prompt, so I cannot simply pass one value as a string while invoking the prompt. Okay, because I have two variables, so I have to specify the name of the key, weather colon the weather, temperature colon the temperature, right? If there is just one variable, we can simply pass it without any key as a string. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I will show you on the coding part. Okay. So this is my prompt, this is my chain, and this is my compose chain where I am plugging in two coerced functions, and the output will be sent to my this chain. So what we are doing, we are creating a compose chain now. Okay. Compose chain means the chain within a chain. So this is my dictionary. Whatever value I will get in weather and temperature will be passed to my this chain, which is also runnable. As I said, chain is also a runnable, so this can also be part of my chain. Okay, chain within chain, and this chain will receive these two inputs and then it will execute as usual. Okay, so there could be any object that exposes the runnable interface. In the right hand side, what we are saying is this is a dictionary format, this is weather, this is temperature. In the right hand side, we may have a coerced function or runnable function. If not, we can also call any runnable interface here. There can be retriever here, there can be other chains, or there can be anything, right, which is runnable. Okay. Interesting.
Yes, yes, Sigurd.
Yes, yes.
ठीक है, तो इसको भी let's test this out. Should I copy paste or should I write? I think I have.
We'll understand. Would save time.
Because it will otherwise take a lot of time. This we have seen. This is runnable parallels. Okay, I will explain quickly. So now I have two methods. Okay. Earlier I just had one method. Now I have two methods. One is get temperature with the city. Now get weather with the city. Okay. And what I'm doing is now my prompt is having two variables, weather and temperature. So first I will create my first chain, which is nothing but prompt chat grok and SQL parser. So instead of creating objects explicitly here, I am simply passing them in the chain itself. Okay, so I need to put the brackets, braces. Okay, so this is my chain, but in order to execute this chain, what I want two values for this prompt. Okay, city and the weather. So I have created another composed chain, and then I am using this dictionary format, and then weather is equal to lambda input, again using the lambda expression to call my function, and I will pass the input to both of these functions, and then they will return the weather and temperature. The output in the form of key and values in the dictionary will be passed to my chain, and then this chain will be executed. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, setting my parameters. Grant. ठीक है. Library imports, my functions. Okay, everything is in just one sentence. Okay, it got executed. So I'm passing Paris. So I'm just passing one value. So this Paris will go into my first runnable. This lambda function, weather for the Paris is what? Is 15. Sorry, this is temperature. Is cloudy. So my weather is set to cloud, and my Paris, what is the temperature for Paris? Temperature for Paris is 15. This will be set to my temperature. That will be passed to my chain. On a cloudy day with a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, it is best to wear comfortable and blah, blah, blah. Useful, exciting. If we go to Langchain, Paris. Okay. So my runnable sequence. Okay. If you are not getting all, so make sure you are clicking on show all. Okay. So this is my runnable sequence. And this runnable sequence is having what? This is having runnable parallel, right? We talked about this one, runnable parallel. Runnable parallel, when I click, it will say the input is Paris and my output is cloudy and 15. Okay. If I go inside my runnable parallels, I have two runnables, lambda rise. This is the first one where I passed Paris, output is cloudy, Paris 15. Okay. Both are clubbed as dictionary, passed to chat prompt template. It has weather and 50 output, what I should wear. So this is my complete prompt, what I should wear if the weather is cloudy and the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. This is my model. This is the response. Total tokens 289. Latency, ठीक है? कुछ excitement नहीं है यार?
Excitement.
Good, good.
Yeah, it's good.
We are not doing it parallelly. That's why we are
Okay.
not seeing the results in front. So whenever we do practice now, you would come to know like how it is giving results. As of now,
Okay.
we are just trying to catch how it is useful and what all use cases we have.
Right, right. So all these concepts will be very useful, right? So once you create your
Mhm.
projects, what is prompt template, what is chat prompt template, how it is runnable. So I'm explaining each and everything in so much detail that you won't feel lost when you actually work on the projects, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you go to documentation and start learning these things, I think you will be lost actually. Okay. Anyway, so this is done. What is the next concept is runnable pass through. Okay, so there is another concept which is called as the runnable pass through. Okay. So runnable pass-through क्या होता है? Runnable pass-through are used to pass the values of a previous step in a chain to the next step without modification. Okay, so let's say my prompt is looking for two different values, and I just have one function, and the other value which is being passed while invoking my chain, if I need to pass that value to my second step, then what I will do, right? So the runnable pass through becomes handy, and it is useful when we want to pass any value to my next step without doing any modification. Okay, we are just letting it to pass through that particular step so that it is available into the next step. Okay, so we will again take some example to understand. Mute yourself if you are not muted, please. So open notebook, runnable pass through. Runnable pass through are used to pass the values. Okay, so what I am doing is I am also installing Langchain community and Langchain Hugging Face and Faz. Faz is basically Facebook AI similarity search. This is a vector database. Okay, so a lot of new libraries you can see here, but I mean, since we have not seen what is RAG and what is, vector database, so don't get lost or worried if you are not able to understand this fully. Okay, since this runnable pass-through is actually useful in these scenarios, that is why I have taken this example. Okay, so there would be certain things which you won't know at this moment, but that is fine. I will try to explain them in short. Okay. I was trying to use OpenAI embedding, but for some reason it was not working. So I switched to Hugging Face. Okay. Meanwhile, I will just try to explain you what we are going to do. So what we are doing is this is just one sentence. Okay. We are creating embedding of this sentence and we are storing it in a vector database. Okay. So this is my embedding model. So when I create embedding, again, I need to use some model. Okay, just like for the large language model, we are using GPT 3.5 or maybe some Grok models. Similarly, if I need to create embeddings of the given text, what I need to do is I need to use some embedding model, which will take text as an input, and then it will produce some vectors, which are mathematical expressions of these sentences. And those embeddings, if passed to a vector database, it will it will store all those embeddings. Okay, in terms of, it will place all those vectors in some vector space. Okay, so this is usually done to create a vector space with your custom data, right? If you have your data in your company and if you want to do question answering on top of that data, now since this data is your own data, on this data, your large language model is not trained. So it may not know, your LLM, your GPT may not know what is policies of Birlasoft, right? How to get, I mean, after how many years you are eligible for promotions. So these are very specific to a company. So if you want to build some conversational chatbot on top of this knowledge base, you have to vectorize your data and you have to put it in your vector database. Okay, so for the time being, this is our data, which is just one single sentence. Vinod Kambli is oldest friend of Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, so I'm providing this data. This embedding model is creating embeddings, and it will store it in Facebook AI similarity search database. And this is my vector store instance. Okay, I will run that. So this embedding model I'm using is from Hugging Face, and this is a retriever. So once I have the vector store, what I will do is I will create one instance for retriever. This retriever will help me to query this vector database. So, and then what is my query? This is my template for query. Answer the question based only on the following context. This is my context and this is my question. So this is my template. Okay. So when I want to run the query on my vector database, first, when I want to query my large language model, first I need to query my vector database, right? I need to pull the relevant chunks, and then along with the question, I need to provide those chunks. Okay, so there are two variables in my template now. One is the question and one is the context. Ashish, can you mute yourself?
Sorry.
Okay, so when you create your template, your prompt, you have two things to provide. One is your original question and other is the context. From where you will get this context? You will get it from your vector database. Is it making sense, guys? So we have three things. We have large language model, we have vector database, and we have the user. When user asks a question, this time it will not directly go to my large language model. Rather, first it will go in the vector database. It will search the content, and whatever relevant context is there in the vector database, it will be pulled, and along with the question, both the things will be passed to my large language model. Okay? So I need two things, context and question. And then what I'm doing is I'm creating my prompt, and my model is ChatGrok, and this is my retrieval chain. So I need two things in my prompt here. I need two things, as I said, context and question. And context will be coming from where? From vector database. And who is going to provide me? The context is the retriever. Retriever is a component. As I said, in the right hand side, in my this dictionary, in my right hand side, I essentially can have any runnable component. And I said that even the components like this one, retrievers, LLM clients, chains, anything which is runnable can be in the right hand side. So I will use retriever to retrieve data from my vector database, and this is runnable pass through. Okay, so I will get the context from retriever, but what about my question? Because my next component is what? Is prompt. Right? My prompt is looking for two values. One is the context and other is the question. Context I will get from retrieval, but what about the context I will get from retriever, but what about the question? So I need to use runnable pass through. Okay. So while invoking this chain, this question will be passed to both of these runnables. Okay. It will be passed to my retriever, and retriever will get the relevant data based on my question and give it to the context. Similarly, this question will also go to my runnable pass through. And since it's a runnable pass through, it won't do any operation. It will pass this string as is in the question. And both the things will be passed to the prompt and then model and the output. समझ में आया कि नहीं आया?
Yes, Surendra, but retrieval will take this question, correct? Who is the oldest man?
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is not implicit. अगर आप इसको देखोगे, you won't
Okay.
be able to see कि how it is being getting passed, right? So this
Correct.
is actually this is not explicit. This is implicit. है ना वो? I mean,
Implicit.
it will
Okay.
automatically be passed to both the runnables. Okay.
Okay.
So if you write these indirectly in the projects, you won't be able to understand. You will say where we are passing this string, right? So this is the reason. Whatever the first component, whatever string we send from the
Yes.
invoke, it will be sent to all the runnables. ठीक है? इसको भी मिलेगा. So this is as good as, like, like this and like this. ठीक है? The only difference is this will get processed from the retriever and then the output will be given to the context. Question may this will be passed as is. So if I run this one, I finally invoke my retrieval chain. Who is the oldest friend of Sachin? Based on the given document, Vinod Kamble is the oldest friend of Sachin. Okay? So this is one use of runnable pass-through, that if I need to pass a value to my next component without doing anything, without modifying, then I can use runnable pass-through and the value will be sent as is. There is another use case where I can assign value also.
एक doubt है.
हाँ, बोलिए.
When you are using runnable pass-through, is it more often you will be using the data from your company, or is it you are getting my question, right? Is it from the company documents, or is it which is not trained basically for the LLM, right? That is the idea.
No, I mean, runnable pass-through has nothing to do with whether it's a company data or not. I mean, I just use this example where we are actually
embedding के लिए. Okay.
हाँ, वो embedding के लिए, right? Okay. Because this is actually a practical use case of this retriever and runnable pass-through, right? So this will be useful. Okay, so this is the another way of looking at runnable pass-through. So let me run the libraries. What I can do is I can do many sessions. So in this example, what we are doing is, this is the second use of runnable pass-through, where we are actually assigning one value like temperature. Okay. So the output of this particular step is what? A dictionary. Okay. So this temperature underscore C will get some value because of this lambda function, this lambda expression. It will call this particular function and it will give input, which we pass while invoking the chain. So let me take you to the prompt actually first. My template is what should I wear if the weather in city. So city is again my input is this much or Fahrenheit also. Okay. So I'm giving temperature in both Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay. So in all I have how many variables now? We started with one, we tried two, now we have three variables. Okay. So this template, right? This prompt will look for how many values? For three values now. Okay. So what I will do is, in order to calculate my temperature in Celsius, I have this function. So I will pass city and I will get the temperature in Celsius. And as long as city is concerned, anyway, I am passing the name of the city. So city can be what? Runnable pass-through, isn't it? We just simply want to pass the name of the city into this variable. So I have written runnable pass-through. For temperature, I am calling this function. The input is my name of my city. It will give me the temperature of that city in Celsius. Now the only remaining part is my temperature in Fahrenheit. For that, what I will do, I will again use runnable pass-through. This is the second use of runnable pass-through. So the dictionary which it will get has two keys. Now I will assign another key, which is temperature in Fahrenheit. And I will do lambda. I will use lambda expression, again, lambda operation to calculate the temperature in Fahrenheit. So I have written this formula of my how to convert temperature in Celsius into Fahrenheit. So this is the maths basically. Okay. So whatever runnable temperature C I will get, it will be passed to temperature underscore C, and this will be evaluated. This is nothing but your temperature in Fahrenheit. It will be assigned to Fahrenheit, and this will be added as a key in my dictionary. So when I come out of this step, I will have in my dictionary, I will have all the three variables: temperature C, city and temperature in Fahrenheit. And then those dictionary will be passed to my prompt and so on and so forth. ठीक है? I think ये नहीं चलेगा. I haven't run the other pieces. Guys, give me a second, please. All right. So this is executed. Okay. Chain.invoke Paris. If the weather in Paris is 20. Okay. So this is my city name and this is the temperature of Paris. I can go to this function and see. And then this is the temperature in Fahrenheit. So I was able to resolve all the three variables. And if we go to superb. Now you can see our, chain is getting complicated. And if I need to see what happened, I'm audible, right, guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
So now my runnable
Can hear you.
sequence, 244 tokens, 0.51 seconds, and inside my runnable sequence, these are my steps: runnable parallel, runnable assign. Runnable parallels, we had two components, right? So if I click on expand, I have first as runnable lambda, other is the runnable pass through. Okay. In runnable lambda, I was passing CT and I was getting my temperature. I got my method executed. Okay. And in my second, that is runnable pass through, I just had Paris and my output is also Paris. Correct. My runnable assign, what I will do, I had these two as input parameters and in the output I got temperature as well in Fahrenheit. Please mute yourself, guys. Okay. So I have got this additional temperature in Fahrenheit, and then this is our usual. Okay. This is my output.
What is the benefit of this pass through, Surendra? I mean, we can directly provide this input now. Why? I mean, what is the exactly reason?
How you will provide this as an input?
The city name, just we see it, against the city, we mention runnable pass through. So we can just mention that particular information, the city information.
No, I mean, I don't think that will be possible. You want me to pass here?
What
you cannot simply assign, right? I mean, so I mean,
Like
this is just a
input,
syntax actually,
like,
right?
okay. Yeah, so it's kind of syntax only to pass that. Nothing
Right.
much,
Right.
no much logic in that.
Right. And how to manipulate the things
Here you can
on the fly.
manipulate also.
On the fly, I was able to assign another key
Dictionary
for
value.
my. Okay, it's just a way the Langchain do the things. Okay, so you have to follow that particular protocol.
Surinder,
हाँ
एक
जी.
question है. अभी can we have a logging mechanism like a sheet where we can download from the log? Whatever we are running now, entire thing can we generate a log?
Yeah, I mean, you have to write your custom logs here. That is one way. Other is, I think from this one also we can, this is share na. Can I generate logs? I think you should be able to download, add to a data set. So I think you can create your data set and you can store your logs, right? Whatever logs which are getting generated.
Yes. In the tables we can
Yes,
generate
yes,
the
yes,
log.
yes, yes. And if
तो
you
उसके
want
लिए कुछ
to,
कोड है क्या? उसके लिए कुछ कोड
यार, I
लगाना
mean,
पड़ेगा
नहीं,
या?
हाँ, कुछ तो होगा. I mean, you can just follow this one, ना? How to add.
हाँ ठीक है, कर सकते हैं तो सही
हाँ,
सही
मतलब,
है।
I have not done actually, but you can try. Add to the data set basically, right? Okay, this is all from this session. Okay, so homework. I think this will take some time for you guys to digest whatever I taught you today. है ना? This is little bit technical, and you can go through the recording, and this is the assignment. What you have to do is you have to develop a pipeline that transforms a Wikipedia article into a well-structured blog post. Okay, so what you can do is you can go to your Wikipedia and you can take any article. Let's say Jodhpur. Just type Jodhpur Wikipedia. It will give some information of Jodhpur. So you can copy paste some part of it and you can use it as your input. Okay, that is your Wikipedia article. Now what we need to do is we need to basically create a blog post out of that Wikipedia article. So what are the essential steps is you need to summarize each concept, take each extracted concept and create a concise summary to break down the information into manageable pieces. And then you have to create a blog post outline. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to create one chain and you have to instruct it like, with the given context or the article, which you will store in a variable. Okay, create a variable, multi-line variable, and just dump your article from the Wikipedia and provide that as an input to this chain, which you create in the step number 2. And say for this particular blog post, uh, try to create some outline or plan for the blog post. Okay, so this instruction you need to give in your template. Okay, you can say for the given below article on this and this topic, create an outline. So it will generate, one chain will generate your outline. Then what you need to do is generate final blog post using, you will create another chain which will do what? With the help of the original article and your outline, it will create some blog post. Okay, write the final blog post that smoothly transit from so and so. And then you can use Langsmith to monitor. Okay, so this you try yourself, go through the content one more time, see how we can create chains and how you can implement this particular thing. Okay, next in the next class, or if you want in the middle, maybe we can discuss the solution. ठीक है?
सुरेंद्र उसमें इमेजेस भी आएगा क्या, इसमें लगाना पड़ेगा क्या?
नहीं, इमेजेस की कहाँ जरूरत है, दिस इज जस्ट टेक्स्ट.
नहीं थोड़ा उसको भी लगा, एक बार चेक करेंगे क्या उसको भी?
हाँ हाँ.
जब we are trying to
Yeah, I mean you can do, but as I said, you need to see the cost, whether for that you have to use GPT-4o model, which is multimodal, and then you
मिस्टर में
can,
नहीं होगा क्या? मिस्टर इज अवेलेबल है, you can use Mistral
वो आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा whether that
सपोर्ट पर।
ना,
वो
हाँ,
एक
सपोर्ट और
पिक्स्टल
नो.
बोल के एक है, मिक्सटल का एक है और एक
मिस्टर.
पिक्स्टल।
अच्छा, पिक्स्टल. ओके.
हाँ पिक्स्टल भी एक है, बट आई एम नॉट ट्राइड, तो लेट मी चेक।
So what do you want to do with the image? You want that model to generate image for you, or you want to pass in some image and do some processing?
Pass the image and get the data, like which what's the coordinate, what is the locality, like person who is coming new. For example, as you said, if I pass the image of the historical monument, it could generate the history of it.
Okay. Okay, you can try that. Okay, so this is your first assignment. Second is like create a conversational chain. Okay, so what is conversational? As I explained in the beginning of my session, when you do conversation, you actually remember what we talked in the past, right? So all you need to do is you need to create one object, okay, or list, basically memory. Let's say the name of that variable is memory, and you need to create a list. In that memory variable, what you need to do is whatever conversation or the history of the conversation is there, you need to append it to that list. And in the end, when you are invoking your model next time, you need to pass the entire history of your conversation. Okay? So let's say first time I said hi, the AI will say, hi, how are you? Okay, so what I need to do is I need to store both these messages in my list. And whenever I am sending my next conversation or my next prompt, I'm saying what is capital of the country India, then I will also append the historical messages or the past messages along with my new prompt. Okay, and then I will pass it to the large language model so that it can retain what you have already talked about. Okay, so these are some hints. You can try this one. Okay, and then we will discuss the solution in our next class. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Surendra.
Thank you, Surendra.
Yeah.
Surendra, can you share the
Surendra,
code? Today's code?
Yeah, I will share the
You will put it in
files.
Slack, right?
Yeah, I will put in Slack also. I will try to put in WhatsApp also. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Surendra. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chalo.
thank you, sir.
that mirror which Shubham is also asking, on WhatsApp.
Asking what?
Mirror, that
Yeah. So
mirror.
I pasted the error to it.
Okay.
So if we can discuss, it is a, I mean, small doubt. If we can.
Yeah, we can continue.
Same mirror I am also getting.
Okay. Can you share your screen, guys?
Yeah, I'm going to share.
Let me stop recording now. I think we are done. So the folks who want to drop can
एरर का भी
drop.
रिकॉर्डिंग कर दीजिए ना,
अच्छा
उसके
कर
बाद
दें?
हम लोग हाँ
ठीक है,
एरर का
that
भी
is fine.
रिकॉर्डिंग कर दीजिए, तो अगर
चलेगा.
किसी ने लॉग आउट कर दिया तो वो बाद में देख सकता है.
चलेगा. So this is pip install Langchain.
Yeah.
ठीक
So
है.
I'm just running step by step. Actually, I am getting error in this line, but I will go through step by step. I will put the keys. For grok. So it's imported chat OpenAI and chat grok. Now when I'm now calling this model chat OpenAI, model name is this, temperature is 2.0. Then I'm getting this error. I will again run. Yeah. So I think it is somewhat differences in the model I'm calling and some proxy, because when I looked into this error, so so it is saying you are likely using a version of OpenAI or HTTP that no longer support the proxies argument in the client. So I use
Right. I was also getting this error actually. Yesterday when I was trying this OpenAI, na,
yeah.
what I was doing, I was actually trying embedding model of this OpenAI. So I also got exactly same error, and that is the reason why I switched to the Hugging Face embedding model. Okay.
So I mean, I think the day before yesterday, I mean, when I ran this code, it ran successfully. I think
I mean,
you also
for
ran the same code.
yes. I mean, for me also. So I think they changed something. Maybe yesterday, some change in the APIs, right? So can you make temperature 1.0 once, or maybe without temperature you can try to
Without
invoke?
temperature also I tried same mirror.
You
It's
know,
come.
I think they changed some APIs, right?
Even I try to upgrade some OpenAI and also.
No, I mean, I also did all those things. So I was surprised to see that code which was working earlier was not
Yeah.
working yesterday. Yes, I think they have made some change in their API, basically. Or maybe this Langchain, right? The Langchain library is no more compatible with, I mean, either OpenAI or maybe Langchain. One of them has upgraded their API, and when we are installing these libraries, we are getting the latest version, which is not compatible with this particular method. है ना?
Yes.
So what we need to do is, I think we need to downgrade. First of all, we need to see which API is causing this thing, है ना? So, and then while installing the library, we need to give that specific version. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can check right now what is the version of this OpenAI, this Langchain APIs, and then maybe we need to downgrade it, right? Downgrade in the sense when we are installing that version, we have to give 0.2 or 0.3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think.
वो करके देखते हैं. Even I need to see this one, ना? I was also
Okay.
facing.
Okay, then.
है ना? I will try. I will see which
Okay.
library has changed actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay,
why
then I will also try.
हाँ
Because everything is same, so that is why
हाँ
we
हाँ नहीं नहीं मेरा
like
भी
got
कोड नहीं चल रहा था कल.
okay. Okay, we will see. No issue.
Okay.
Okay.
One more, Surendra,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing this show all option in language.
Okay.
It is, let me see. Here I'm getting
Go inside this runs na हाँ. Go inside them. Any one of these.
this I ran, and
Mm-hmm.
here, oh, okay, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
This one, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry.
अंदर आता है वो.
Okay, I was searching outside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, then I will take it. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else has anything?
No, thank you.
चलो then. Happy
Thank
rest
you.
of the weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.